This idea that, oh, because I put my career first, well, you clearly were not thinking about your life in full because, come on, man, you mean to tell me Dr. Cheyenne Bryant just woke up yesterday, post 40, decided, oh, I just want to have a baby? No, she long-term had probably wanted to have a baby. So let's be clear. When I think guys are talking about who are cooked, they're talking about women who I think in this context, they might say she's cooked, even if he's not cooked for me, I think she's cooked for the nigga she wants. I think that's what a lot of people are saying, right? Just to be honest, right? And so, for example, if I wanted to still date young girls, that might be done for me because I'm an older guy. So maybe to those young ladies, I'm cooked. That's okay, right? Everybody's going to have their audience. The problem becomes when I feel entitled to have to be accepted by a particular group and then choose not to take the signs or the lack of interest, right? Or the lack of getting what I want to, maybe cause me to pivot a little bit. So there's something wrong with, it's only wrong when we just intimate that might be the case for women who have a particular taste. You dig what I'm saying? And it still comes, let me ask you a question, S&M. You mean to tell me, like, for example, if you see a guy and he's 37, 38, 39, good looking brother, he has his life together, everything. He's not even a player that you know of, right? But he's never been married. You know what I'm saying? Don't have any kids, but he claims he wants that. You mean to tell me that people would either question his intention for real? If he real for real, what's wrong with him? Is he gay? Like, that wouldn't be a thing. So when we see some of these women who people would say, yo, shorty, I think you check a lot of boxes. You say you want a thing. And then all of a sudden, we got to be crazy to be wondering why hasn't she found the thing that she says she wants when she clearly has the mental capacity, the emotional intelligence, the looks, the femininity. She's probably jumping off the dresser, get all ththese boxes checked. Come on, man. There isn't such thing as things being too good to be true. I'll give you another example that you probably won't like. If you see a car, right? Right? It got low mileage on it. It's top notch. The car normally would go for $60,000 off the showroom. Nobody's driven it yet. It got the leather seats. You can fall into it, right? And all of a sudden it's $30,000. You're like, what the fuck, half off? Where is that at? You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me you would have some questions? I'm not saying you would still drive it. Let me take it for a test drive real quick. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas who are looking at these women are probably also thinking. It's not that they're necessarily something's wrong with them. They're probably having the same concerns about, well, damn, shorty, if you're all that in a bag of chips, why haven't you been snatched up already? And lastly, I'll give you another example, S&M. I'm sure there are probably people who look at you like, yo, I know she snatched up. Why? Because they think you dope. They're not surprised if you tell them, yo, I'm married. You know what? That's right. I don't understand why y'all marry people who know y'all got shows and know, you know what I'm saying? Want to pretend like, come on, man, stop playing with me. I would just stop there. But go ahead.
Let me address one of those. First and foremost, the first one is technically she was chosen. From my understanding, she was the one who called the engagements off, right? So apparently she did have opportunity. So twice she was engaged, and she was the one who stepped away from those engagements, which means that her choices aren't limited. Now they may have reached. There could have been reasons why she called them off, called off the engagements, but it shows that this was her choice. So her moving a certain way. Was she not engaged? Was she not engaged?
I'm going to tell you what. Go ahead.
Yes or no?
Was
she not engaged?
Go ahead.
Oh,
so
really?
she said, but go ahead.
So anyway,
there's no court records of her engagement, is there?
So supposedly, let's go ahead and put that in there. Supposedly then, she was engaged for twice. She called it off both times. And so that means she still had options. And she probably still had options. She's in a situationship for 5 years, right? So for her, this whole cooked and seasoned, you like a little kid over there about to come out.
Somebody might get cooked right now. Somebody's about to
I'm just saying that in her particular case, she has her own reasons for moving the way that she moved. In regards to the whole, if you're 35, the guy thing, only recently have women started asking that question in regards to, is it a red flag if a guy is over a certain age, usually 40, and they're not married or they don't have children or whatnot. It's only been recent that women started asking that. And so yes, in regards to red flags, but over 40 usually. She actually falls under that, being over 40 herself, but she's been engaged twice, and I guess folks give her a pass and extend her timeline.
I'm going to say this, two things about the whole guy thing. Listen, I'm a guy, and if I know a guy who's 40 and he has a lot going for himself and he says he wanted marriage or whatever, he doesn't have it, I'm going to look at him with a side eye. This is not exclusive to just women. Okay, I'm going to be honest. Because to me, it doesn't fit the profile. to a certain extent. Like there's just, if you look at the numbers, certain guys who college educated, make a certain amount of money, whatever, if they wanted and desire marriage, they typically would have already had it, right? So I'm not saying I'm gonna look at them crazy necessarily, but I'm going to have questions as to why a guy who could have what he wants has not yet gotten what he wants. It may not be that he can't get it, but it may be an internal thing that he has to work through. It could be mommy issues. It could be a litany of things, which brings me back to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. When you talked about the whole, she got proposed to twice. The fact that she's in a 5-year situationship with the nigga who's probably knocking the dust off still, right? Which is literally probably opportunity costing her from me even finding the person that she really wants for real, tells me that the likelihood is she has a track record of picking niggas that she knows she's not going to be with. Right? If you intentionally pick a nigga that you know is either beneath you, not for you, too young for you, to got enough money for you, but you got some good dick and you fucking with him or whatever, and he proposes to you, that's not a fucking flex. It's not a flex because you said no. You were always going to say no. He was never going to be that guy. The fact that you stayed in those relationships and knowing that and then cost yourself the time of being in a relationship with a guy you are worthy of, what she's not talking about is a lot of these women don't even feel worthy enough for the nigga they claim they want. Let me say that one more time in slow-mo. A lot of these women who claim they want a nigga don't even themselves feel worthy of them niggas, which is why they'll lay with niggas who are not up to par while saying that's what they want, while also costing them the opportunity to be with the nigga who's up to par. It's not that she didn't have the opportunities, that for herself, maybe she didn't believe she deserved it in the first place, right? That's the deep healing work that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant probably needs to do, right? If she's able to diagnose people from afar, guess what? I can too. How in the fuck are you in? Excuse me, ma'am. Go ahead. What?
So now I'm glad you added that caveat of diagnosing people from afar.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is the content space. This is what we do now. I'm saying there's enough credible evidence. If she's in the current situation that she's in with a guy that she knows is not going anywhere, probably because he's too young, right?
He's 9 years her junior.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, if you're spending time with someone, it could be twice a week, it could be once a week. That time that you're spending with that person, those phone conversations, and we know most decent women aren't finna fuck one nigga one night and fuck another nigga the next night, right? So you might have to have like a little layoff period before you start giving it up. So now when you meet the guy that you actually might like, now you got to be a little bit more skittish because you can't just move freely because you've already gave the nigga that you just fucking some of your pwn. You know what I'm saying? There's an opportunity cost for laying with niggas who ain't up to par. So what I'm saying is when you mention the whole she was proposed to twice, there is evidence to suggest that she's probably choosing niggas that she don't want to be with because guess what? That young boy right now is probably the nigga number 3 who proposed to her knowing that she would never be with him. So then she could come back on somebody's podcast and be like, well, I was engaged. I was proposed to 3 times. Stop it. Right? That's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so lastly, I'll say what I think women do and people, and this is people in general, people will rationalize why they didn't get what they wanted instead of just owning it. I didn't get, and I think to her credit, she said, you know what? When I was 20s, I wouldn't have done this. When I was 30s, I wouldn't have done this. But the way she framed it, instead of just recognizing that, yo, I was young, dumb. I thought I was a shit. I thought I had enough time. And then guess what? Time caught up to me and I never didn't get what the fuck I wanted. And now I'm scrambling, which seems to be a lot of these attractive, smart, thoughtful women in the limelight who've never been married. And that's why I said, I think those women who are over 35 for the niggas that they want are cooked.
Before we move on, you got any final thoughts on that, Devin?
Shout out to Nick for just doing the Lord's work for the Cheyenne Bryants of the world. I'm not talking about just your average run-of-the-mill, a woman over 35. They're fine. For the Cheyenne Bryants of the world, the hyper-accomplished, seasoned, high social status women, yeah, they're screwed. I stand on that.
Look, I'm just going to say before we go ahead and move to this next topic over here is that I just find this interesting because a lot of times when men are screaming that women are expired or they're cooked, they tend to be the same ones who bring in nothing but audacity to the table. No goals, no hygiene, no emotional availability, just vibes and PS5. Now, that may not be for the Dr. Cheyenne Bryant crew because as y'all mentioned, she's doing the Paul Pierce. She's in that Paul Pierce league, so to speak, of men. So that's excluding that. But overall, in general, and we had the audacity conversation, which y'all already disagreed with when the gay guy stated that men.
How does that fit? How did you bring that into this conversation?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying because I'm going to go through the overgeneralization, right? The generalization first, and then, but I excluded Dr. Cheyenne Bryant because you know what? You guys got a point. And I'm acknowledging that you guys got a point that for her and the people who are looking at her for the demographic, because of the choices that she may have found that she has a much more limited selection because the people who she's looking for is those people in the Paul Pierce group who can go out and get the 25-year-olds or 2 or 3 of them if they wanted to. So I'm acknowledging that. For everybody else, though, I'm going to say you're not cooked, you're just seasoned.